welcome back to the channel. Today's a little bit different from the usual Supra content that I shoot, but here we have Devin back on the channel. So you guys might have seen him on the very first episode of the Supra build series. And today we have his GR Corolla. So still staying within the Toyota family, but Devin, real quick, if you want to reintroduce yourself to our audience.
Absolutely. My name is Devin McClelland, and I own automotive detailing and restoration in Carrollton, Texas. I also work with Surround Sound over in Richardson. This is the 23 Corolla GR Circuit Edition that I found after about 6 months of searching.
Damn. Yeah, and you had a Supra before this too. So what was done to your Supra for those who are not familiar?
So I had the Pure 800 on the Supra, still running a 93 body tune, and the car was amazing. It was absolutely amazing and exceeded every expectation I had for a new car since I've started buying new cars. And there's not enough good things to say about the A90 platform. I think that it is the most capable car for the money on the market. And I think that's probably why they've become so popular in the last 2 years. And I mean, the secret's out as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And we no longer get heckled in that car. People no longer try and race you every 2 seconds, especially you, I bet.
No.
But it was a great platform, and I miss that car a lot. And I know the new owner probably is really enjoying the car. But I wanted to start with a clean slate, and I wanted a manual again. And honestly, that car paid off this car in a heartbeat. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me financially, even though I know I did lose money on the parts that are on the car. But I had one hell of a journey with that car. It was great.
Yeah, this is definitely like it's a breath of fresh air, right?
It is. It's more visceral, I would say. Like the Subaru community, the STI, that was one of my most favorite cars. And
shout out to the Subaru community if you guys are watching.
Unfortunately, with its little shortcomings, things that just reliability and whatnot, it's always one of those things where you have to pay to play, but I don't want to be a pauper, just because I have a hobby.
Right.
And so that was a big factor with this car. Plus, I knew development would go crazy with this car in the first couple of years, and SEMA certainly didn't disappoint with that. Everybody had a GR Corolla build, and parts are a little slower to roll out, but I think that it's going to be a great platform. Plus, when you pop the hood of this car and you look at the engine bay and how easy everything is and how accessible, like I can change my shifter linkage by just moving my airbox out of the way.
Oh, really? It's that easy?
Yes. Like, I can create a short throw with this in 20 minutes. It really is. It's pretty cool. Now there are some sacrifices, and that's what I was telling you before, is like it's so hard to go from such a fast car to a much slower car and still be just as confident in yourself. Like I no longer, like anytime anybody ever rolled up to me in the Supra, I was like, just please test me. Please test me, please. And with this, I'm like, no, go away. I'm just having a good time. I'm just going to enjoy my car. It's not about speed. It's about handling. It's about, so.
It's all the other stuff that, like, if you're not from Texas, everyone here builds straight line cars. So we're not like up in the Pacific Northwest or in the East Coast where there's a lot of like twisty roads. We have to really go far to get that.
Absolutely. We're the opposite of Japan. I think Japan has one dragway, right, in the entire country.
In the entire country,
so it's a different experience, but something that felt really familiar being in the STI. This is a very similar space. There's not a lot of bells and whistles, which for the price, I'll admit, is a little bothersome, but you still get lane departure, you still get the cruise control and the Toyota suite of safety equipment. And I think the new Corolla, the new GR or new year of GR Corolla is going to get the parking sensors and stuff like that. So I don't have any holes in my bumper. I don't have any of that stuff. It's very, very clean, very simple, and the car is so small, it feels like it hugs you. A lot more. outside of that, I think this car talks to itself. Its front and rear talk and let you know. The car, when it does start to rotate in the corner, I have plenty of heads up. Like I know what the car is going to do. It's probably going to
pretty direct.
Exactly, and it'll
Yeah.
understeer before it oversteers, obviously. So a different world, but still very, very nice.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful example. This is probably one of the most modified GR Corollas that you guys will see on YouTube so far from the owner themselves. Who it's not like I mean, technically it can be shop built, but it gets driven.
That's true.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and walk through this car so you guys can see what it's all about. Let's go over the mods that Devin has on the car. We're gonna start on the front. We'll work towards the engine bay, and then we'll work towards the interior. So if you guys wanna see like specific areas, then you guys can just skip to that using the bookmarks. But Devin, whenever you're ready, just walk us through and the viewers
Perfect.
on what you have done to the outside.
So, like I was saying before, things are slowly rolling out. Again, with SEMA happening, I think APR, I think CBON, everybody is starting to manufacture and release parts. So I'm kind of tacking things on as I go and as I'm able to find them either on sale or even on availability.
Yeah.
So a lot of the aesthetic things, I'm doing forged carbon on the car just because the roof is already forged carbon. These are available through GR mods. I've actually got the sides here. I've also got, these are all waiting to be installed because I've got to rip the front bumper off to do that. But everything else I'm installing as I go, including the hood vents, the side fender vents as well.
Yeah, it's like a nice touch from like with just the color, with it being a little bit dark, so it's a nice like accent.
Exactly. And with carbon, you always, I struggle with, is it too much? Is it too little? Is it just right?
Just
so
like
I'll
your
probably
Supra?
change. Yes, I'll probably change my mind throughout the process. Of course, TE the world. So I've got a set of, I believe they're 18 by 9.5s, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check before I misspeak. But I believe they are 18 by 9.5s plus 30. I will have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I ordered.
It's a bolt pattern, that classic like Japanese
It is.
bolt
It's,
pattern.
I believe 5 by 114, if I'm not mistaken.
So you can run literally like Subaru spec wheels on this.
Yeah, the only issue was obviously everyone was trying to figure out where the offset was going to work well with the car, especially after it gets lowered. I'm waiting for coilovers or springs. I'm kind of trying to decide right now what I want to go with.
Yeah, because right now this is stock suspension, as what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because oh, so you're running a 265 35. Yeah, 265 35 is pretty beefy. Is it a square setup?
It is a square setup. Yeah, absolutely. And what's strange also is that the car runs a rear spacer from the factory.
Oh,
so
really?
Whenever you do the square setup, the rear wheel actually pokes out a little bit more. I didn't want to remove the factory spacer as it is right now, but I do have to go ahead and get extended lugs. So that's one major thing with this car, is that whenever you change out wheels and tires, you'll notice, especially on the front, you're only going to get 6.5 turns out of that lug, which for anybody in the industry knows that that's not the safest thing in the world. I'm not going to say that it's unsafe, but obviously I wouldn't want to track a car that I'm only getting 6.5 turns out of each lug.
Yeah, you don't want to hit a turn and then the wheel falls off.
That's right, or hit a rumble strip and there you go, your wheel's off. So that would be not good. So that's one of the other things that I want to get done. What's funny is I'm pretty sure you can order a Lexus IS extended lug kit. It's the same for this car.
Oh, and it just bolts right on?
And it bolts right on, yeah. So that was really good. I also got the Veris rear diffuser. I had one of the first prototype rear diffusers. Luckily, I got Veris to send that out to me. And also, the install was extremely easy for this, as with most of their products. And everything seems to be holding on. It's very sturdy. Nothing's moving.
When you notice it, it's nice.
Absolutely. And we're still in the infancy stages of this. So most of the things that I've done aesthetically are under the hood. And like I said, it's also tuned by Mikey. So we're just trying to work through any teething issues, make sure that everything is functioning right, make sure the AFR is good, everything is good.
Yeah.
But
because whenever we were riding to the spot, You guys might see that this is familiar from the video that we did with the two See You Later gray Supras. But dude, this pulls like nice. Like it reminds me a lot. And I know you mentioned during the intro, the SCI community, it's like a more refined version of the SCI hatch.
Absolutely.
More like refined, modernized, more reliable.
Yeah, and they give you more information. There's more available to you through the dash for what the car is doing, the gauges that are available, the configuration and setup of the dash.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to pull a lot of that community, especially I met a lot of guys in the Subaru community that the culture was part of the reason why they got into those cars. And then the culture kind of changed on a lot of people. And some people say it's for the better, some for the worse, but a lot of them, I think, have gotten out of that community and car itself or brand. So I think this will be a good move for a lot of people. I don't think there's going to be a ton of people that do what I did, which is move from the Supra to the GR Corolla. A lot of people have already told me on the internet that I'm dumb, but it's not the first time that that's happened. So for me, it was the right decision. And I would say, do you want to go ahead and pop the hood? I mean, everything else is kind of interior.
Yeah.
And,
Let's
other aspects.
Let's pop the hood, because I know, as you guys can see with like the B-roll that have been inserting throughout the video, there's a lot of like different accents here and there, but you guys will see that there's more than meets the eye with Devin's car. So pop the hood and let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. So from what I can tell so far, there's the Venturi.
Yeah, engine cover. Yeah, carbon engine cover in the red, and then the traditional carbon. And I wanted to go flat. For what really makes me mad is that I was doing all of this and I saw a post from Daniel Song and I was like, why does your engine bay look exactly like my engine bay? But he is the trendsetter, so there's not really much I can do about that. And this is what I was telling you about with the cover. So this is where the new intake manifold is going to go, and it unfortunately it comes out and bumps up right about here. So I'm going to have to tape off and cut all of this away in order to fit it, which is actually what he did. I saw the first example of it done from Daniel, and it looks so clean. I just want to I want to try and recreate that a little bit.
Yeah, this is, I mean, even as it sits right now, it's really clean because you have the cooling plate in carbon. Then, of course, you have the intake, which is
That's right. Which that intake is so amazing. It really is. I mean, I know it's an expensive piece, and a lot of people will give me shit for that. You know, and the fact that it's a more budget car, and I'm, you know, I got mine on sale, but I think it is like a $1,600 intake, which is just crazy. I think that's about maybe more than the Supra one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's up there. I think it is, because I think the Supra maybe was like 1,500. I don't know, but
it's somewhere in that neighborhood. Maybe 14 to 16, but it's still very expensive.
Yeah.
But I also from NV Specialties. No, it was Titanium Works, I believe. Man, I'm trying to remember the company.
Titanium Works? If so, then that's like...
I think it is. So basically, I wanted the turbo look. I wanted the turbo script on the car. So I ordered the Mark IV turbo script that normally goes on the rear of the car in titanium.
Oh, that's where that's from. I was like, wait, that's super like script.
It is. So I love that 90s style script. So that's what I went with. And then I just also did their front hood emblem from the Mark IV as well.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think it ties in pretty well. Especially, I'm waiting on a titanium exhaust option to come out as well. So we'll see kind of how that goes. But you can also see the intake duct from Venturi that brings in fresh air directly from the front. That's one of the major issues with the GR Corolla, is the Toyota designed the airbox with this flapper on the bottom that under a watt, it opens up and allows air in. But unfortunately, it's behind that radiator. So it puts hot air right into the airbox.
Yeah, I remember. I literally watched a video about that yesterday.
Yeah,
where they're like, it doesn't make sense that
it doesn't. It just raises your IAT. So I'm like, I don't know why you would do that. But this solves that problem. It gives you a wonderful noise as well. You really, I could add an aftermarket BOV, but honestly, the amount of noise that comes out of the stock one after the intake is plenty for most people.
Nice engine bay. Nice and tasteful. Nothing too crazy yet.
Not crazy to look at yet. And also, if you notice over here, this is what I was talking about with the shifter linkage. If you look right underneath the intake, that's my shifter linkage.
Oh yeah.
So I can literally, I don't even have to move my intake out of the way to be able to change any of this stuff.
Yeah, if you guys can see that, let it focus. There you go. Yeah, man, that's incredible. Yeah, there's a lot of, you move.
It's
Yeah,
like 3 bolts.
yeah, man.
Yeah, and I'm done. But everything else was kind of creature comforts. On the interior, I wanted the car to feel more like a almost $50,000 car.
Yeah.
You know, and so considering it is a Corolla, you're going to run into issues with that. So if you look at the inside,
yeah, let's go through the inside. So definitely
the circuit, you get the
Actually-
red stitching, as opposed to, I think it's just normal black in the core. And then I found these online from Alea Leather, and they're a company that's comparable to like Cat Skins and stuff like that. But this was a prototype kit, and I offered the guy, and he went ahead and sold it to me, and then I had an upholstery shop install it.
yeah.
I've also done the airbag and replaced the factory steering wheel with an aftermarket one.
Yeah, this is
Nothing crazy. We all know, you know, I mean, every aftermarket steering wheel for the most part comes from China, and we all have the same ones. But that's okay.
probably the same factory.
That's
even.
right. Yeah, different people sell it, but it's all the same. But it feels nicer than the regular one.
Right, for sure. And even the rear seats, like with the red for like this type of car, it's actually perfect because I mean it's a sports car. You know, typically more sporty cars have the red interiors.
Absolutely.
And honestly, like I didn't know too much about GR Corolla interiors whenever
And you
I
thought
saw
it looked factory, right?
It looked factory. Like
yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it through the camera, but the fit and finish of this is honestly like I'm really impressed for the fact that these are seat covers.
Yeah, I was very, very happy with how it turned out. I mean, a little bit of tweaking here and there because it was a prototype kit.
Yeah.
It was what they used to develop the kit they're going to eventually sell to the public. But for the money, it was ridiculously good.
Oh yeah, this is like, man, I'm just super impressed. It reminds me a lot of the here you have like of course the plaque, famous plaque circuit edition, but this reminds me a lot of the SCI hatch because I had one, but it's just no weird rattles, you know.
Absolutely. I think the
it's just
SCI
super
hatch might have had a
solid.
little bit more room in the rear. I think
Yeah.
there's not a ton of leg room for this car, but if you're getting bags in and out of it,
Mhm.
doing things like that, like moving things in and out, that was my only reason why I didn't seek out a Marizo, you know, was because I would feel guilty putting mileage on it every time I drove it.
Yeah.
And the other thing was I didn't see a point in having no rear seats, but having a door.
Right,
you know,
right.
so which I get it, that's a track car, but for me, I was like, well, I might need to put something in there at some point, you know.
Yeah,
so
good
I'll
call
go
on
ahead
this
and,
one.
yeah, I'll get the circuit.
Because you still get like the nice, like the forged carbon roof.
Yep, and I PPF that, so normally it is flat, but my first concern with that roof was deterioration, discoloration, UV. So I wanted to go ahead and get it PPF'd and then ceramic coat over the PPF.
Talk us through the performance mods, what you have done, what you have planned, and what's like your final goal for the car.
Yeah, absolutely. So from what I can tell from forums and other R&D done by people that have a lot more money than me, the valves seem to be the sticking point, I think, for gains on this car. And there's already valves and stuff designed for the Yaris engine. So I'm assuming those are probably going to bolt right in, no problem, not be an issue. So I think the top end components are going to be the biggest sticking point on this car. But once you move past that, I don't think there's going to be any issues. My end game for this car is going to be around 420 horsepower to the wheels, what I would like, especially for an engine that you can almost pick up by yourself.
Yeah.
So it is a very light motor and it is very tiny and compact, but I think that once I'm done around 420, 430 will be what I'm happy with. I just kind of want to see how reliable we can get there. You know, what reliability is like once I am there. I obviously don't want to blow this thing up, but I've already seen friends that have gone to Japan, and I saw a forum post on it the other day, and he's like taking pictures of all this stuff that's available, and there's a crate engine for this sitting on the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a GR Yaris motor for sale that you can buy, like a long block, no problem, on a I guess like a crate motor technically is what it would be. But we'll see. I'm again with the tuning right now. I'm only on 93. We're doing baby steps. I'm just trying to pay attention to Mikey, see what happens with ECU Tech, and I think they're coming up with a fix. My biggest problem right now with the car is I'm throwing a code for too much air in the system. So that's got to do with the evap and all that stuff. So
that's where you have to do like what I think Mikey was saying. You have to like trick the ECU or something like that, so it doesn't like freak out.
Yeah, and so far no one has a fix for it right now. There was actually, I think, Limit Plus One or another one of those companies that thought they had solved it with the right length of vacuum hose. I guess, for the system, but they didn't. So they tried selling that fix for a short time, but it doesn't solve the problem. So we're just going to kind of see what happens. I think Ecotech will figure that out, and obviously we'll just be able to code it out, and it won't be a problem. But it will turn my dash into a Christmas tree if I don't stay on top of it and I clear the code. Yeah. But given it's only every 100, 150 miles, so for me, I just keep my Bluetooth plugged in and I can clear it out anytime I want. So it's not an issue.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about EcuTech is you just go there, clear it, boom.
Yeah, and no issues at all. And the car, the car never goes into limp mode either. All it does is get really annoying with the beeping. So there's no limp mode for the car. It doesn't hurt the car. And so far, I mean, this has been one of the funnest cars I've owned for the first 6 months of ownership. Definitely a blast to drive.
Shoot. All right, there you guys have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. A little bit long, but definitely worth it. So if you guys like this car, if you guys have any questions for myself or Devin, leave them down below, and definitely give Devin a follow on Instagram if you want to give a plug.
It's 2J or 2J_who. And I'm not changing the handle as of right now, so we'll see how that goes, especially considering it's going to confuse some. But those that have followed my build from the beginning on the Supra will understand. But yeah, definitely shoot me a message. Or if you're interested in helping me out as a sponsor or anything like that, please let me know. I have no problem installing your parts on my car. So
yeah, there you guys have it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.